There was nowhere for investors to hide in February's market reversal. And hi, friends. Welcome back to the channel. And this is your daily news. So let's just jump right in the headlines and see what's going on around the world. Yes, the market is going down a little bit in February because it was going up like crazy in January. And also in January as well, actually, the pending home sales are up 8.1%. You're going to see this most since June 2020. Now, here's my understanding of it is that volumes were lower, so there can be more, bigger swings in the housing market. So as we, move into summer months, we'll see where the housing market is from here. We've talked about this before, interest rates are going up. So I would expect the market to slow. We know that rents are coming down, but we'll see. That's just my opinion on that one. And also too, you'll read about these crazy headlines as well. TD Bank to pay $1.2 billion to end suit tied to Ponzi scheme. Yes, I read that right. Ponzi scheme. So I guess TD Bank is in this thing, HSBC, and it just shows there's just so much fraud out there. Got to be really, really careful, guys. This is an old suit. It was like an Alan Stafford thing, and unreal. $1.2 billion to end the suit. You're gonna hear, people say the same stuff, depending on what your point of view is. So Ryan, right? He's an economist, likes to go on TV and very popular. He says, the Fed doesn't care about Wall Street as much as Wall Street thinks. That's the headlines. But the basic idea, though, is he's been saying all along that, remember, the Fed wants 2% inflation rate. He just doesn't think that is a feasible thing. He thinks that, they should go more like to 3 or 4%. It's my alarms. Yeah, it's alarm saying that she would go 3 or 4% too. That was not planned. That's really funny. Also, during the headlines, the bond yields, this is the 2-year, is at its 16-year high. And we always check the yields, on the channel. Basically, it's fascinating because the 10-year is at 3.92, right? We're talking about the treasuries. And then the 2-year is at 4.82. So you're looking at a inversion, right? The 2-year is higher than the 10-year. That usually signals recession, but yet it hasn't happened. So this is where I laugh because it's like our markets are so wacky. You can make a couple arguments here of why things were going up. Since I think it was I think it bottomed out. But I won't say bottom. Let's say it rebound. That's a better word. Rebounded around like December-ish, and then into January. You could say shorts recovering. You can also say that it is over, right? That there is one more downturn. Or you could say that the market has misread the Fed. You could say any number of things. My personal opinion is that rates are still going up, and the Fed is serious. They're going to keep it elevated for quite some time. That's just my opinion. I always just tell you guys, I tell you, I want to make sure that, I'm separating fact from opinion. I also think, you look at this here, the 10-year, when that hits above 4%, it makes it difficult for stocks. But to be fair, there is opportunity in the market if you're willing to take those risks. And I hope you guys understand just when we talk about and go through the news on the channel, I just want to illustrate both the pros and cons and risks and stuff like that so you guys are informed. That's the name of the game here. Just want to inform you guys as much as I can. Look at this one, and get these weird headlines. I don't know, I'm in a funny mood today, so excuse my laughing, that's just me. Goldman's confusing, yeah, that's what it says. Confusing message, we waste on stock as Solomon's pitch fizzles. So basically they had an investor day at Goldman, and a lot of the talk was like, what are you guys doing with the Marcus thing? If you remember this thing, and true story, I had a Marcus account also. I can't remember what it was, but a lot of these accounts, they would give you free money for opening up savings accounts. So like, okay, fine, I'll take the free money. And, they end up taking a loss as a bank. So it costs money to acquire. If you're going to have to spend a bunch of money to acquire customers, I don't remember what it was. Let's say a couple $100 to acquire customers. That adds up over time if more and more hear about it. And, another headline from them, Goldman Sachs raises prospect of selling parts of its business. Even though that's the headline there, from when I read, I guess it wasn't actually clear what Goldman was doing. And the problem that Wall Street often faces, be it Goldman or JP Morgan or anything like that, I mean, we all know interest rates are going up, right? And we all know that, for example, there was a whole bunch of deals, / IPOs, / SPACs that came out, and they made a ton of money on that kind of stuff. They always made a ton of money off trading, transaction, like these kind of things. And so all those sort of numbers have declined, and now they're trying to convince people that, hey guys, everything's great, come on back and give us your money again, because that's their job. Their job is to manage money, and, investors are a little bit leery of it. So that's why you get to read these funny headlines. And that's their job. They're also laying off people too as well. I'm sure you guys know this. So tech and Wall Street jobs, financial jobs have been really, really struggling the last few months with layoffs and things. And Goldman was just basically not able to supply enough confidence to people that people wanted to hear. Also, too, you can look at the more headlines. Twitter to scale back NYC office space as Musk cuts costs. So, you guys know this. I'm sure you know. They've been firing a bunch of people they announced. I think it was like 200 people that we saw in the last headlines. It was just like 10%. They're less than 2,000 employees, and they just don't need that much office space. There was actually a employee. It was I think it was last week we looked at the picture. He tweeted out like a picture of the cafeteria, but I think it was more like the San Francisco office, and it was just like empty. So I don't blame Musk for this one, right? If you're firing people, yes, you got empty office space. By all means, you should probably sublease it, that kind of thing. Also, too. This was an interesting one. The China CCP, you can see it warns Musk against sharing Wuhan lab data leak. So there was a report, I think it was the Department of Energy, I want to say. Was it Energy? You guys can correct me, but there's been 4 government reports on the origin of where the COVID came from, and there's like a couple will say the level of certainty would be like low certainty, moderate certainty, high certainty, these kind of things. And Musk was like tweeting out this stuff because it looked like it's coming from a Chinese lab. And you guys know Musk and controversy. Now, what's interesting about this particular story, though, is usually Elon does not mess with the Chinese Communist Party. He doesn't say anything bad about them, these kind of things. And this is also important. I always emphasize this point because for people who love Musk, and I get it, you guys, some people really like him. And they say, oh, Chris, Twitter is all about free speech and Musk loves free speech. But generally, Musk does not come out against, say, free speech issues in China, meaning that the Chinese government censors its citizens, and Musk usually doesn't say anything about that. So this will be an interesting whether or not, he'll obey the Chinese Communist Party in regards to COVID stuff, because Musk does like to tweet out these kind of things. Also, too, regarding the Chinese Communist Party, they're actually encouraging staff. You can read this here. This would be Ernst & Young here. Ernst & Young China staff encouraged to wear Communist Party badges. Now, I didn't know this, to be very frank. I didn't know this, but I used to teach at Tsinghua University in Beijing. I used to live in Shenzhen. I also was in Shanghai as well. Well, I just didn't know. I guess there are more Communist Party pins around town these days when you're in China. And I just want you guys to put this in perspective. Just imagine you have a job at a bank, because they mentioned it wasn't just Ernst & Young, like accountants and stuff. It's like banks. I can't remember. There's a bunch. They listed like a bunch of different jobs, but it was like public-facing jobs. And you put them on your left side, kind of like where the Star Trek communicator would go, essentially. And the party's really strict about, you can't wear it as an earring, and you can't put it on your pants. Like, essentially they just want it, so people can see it and it's visible. And one of the things that I was thinking and was like, just imagine if one of the parties in USA, that political parties said, hey, you have to wear our symbol. I just want you to put yourself in that thing, right? It's kind of messed up. But this is a different system over there. When I used to teach at Tsinghua, many of the professors are party members. I had students who were party members, and there would be meetings. I think it might have been once a month or something like that. So this isn't necessarily unusual for China, but what sort of, this is an important story is because the U.S. and China are fighting over accounting regulations regarding Chinese companies on the U.S. stock market. So this does not appear that the accountants are neutral if the Communist Party is saying, hey, you have to wear our symbol if you guys get that. Moving forward too, we had a big report from Fisker. So they're saying, hey guys, was it 40,000 cars? Yeah, they're going to build a bunch of these cars. And I want to put this together. There's a different one with Rivian. They're saying they're going to be building 50,000 cars. So the Fisker sort of surprised people. Rivian sort of disappointed people. In either of these cases, it's going to be tough to predict what's going to happen with these. I just want to share, and I want to pull this together, and it'll make sense in a second here. Take a look at this one here. Virgin Galactic, I said they're going to be flying customers out. It says, Virgin Galactic says first customers head into space soon. And oftentimes, people want to take these kind of, essentially what it is as a gamble with these kind of companies. And yes, you can win. You can totally win, but you can totally lose. And I want to sort of stress luck does play a factor in this stuff, because no one can tell the future on anything like this. Like Virgin Galactic, just for example, if you were to YOLO that, maybe, in 20 years, space tourism ends up being a thing, and this ends up being the winner, and they're making oodles of cash. Who knows? I honestly don't know if space tourism is going to be a thing. Same with the EVs. I do think people are going to drive them in the future, but both Rivian and Fisker could totally fail. There's no guarantee in this kind of stuff. And what happens in the world and investing and anything in life, if someone takes a massive, massive bet, be it like a Dogecoin or like a Tesla, and that bet pays off, then they become famous, they make a YouTube channel and say, everyone, I'm the Dogecoin millionaire, I'm the Tesla millionaire, that kind of stuff, right? If they fail, like if I, YOLO'd Fisker, Virgin Galactic, or Rivian, and I fail, no one ever hears about me. And so you only end up hearing about the winners. That's called survivorship bias. And this is sort of, just be careful, because when someone, says they're a great investor, but pretty frank, they probably just got lucky. You don't necessarily know how many people failed compared. Like what's the percentage of people actually get lucky when you YOLO? So, it's the same as if, I win the lottery, buy my class, and I'll teach you how to win the lottery too. It's kind of like that. So no predictions on Virgin Galactic, but I'd love to hear you guys' thoughts on any one of these companies. And this is a great headline as well. Market History 101, it's time to buy bonds. And I've shared with you guys several times, when you're thinking about these kind of things, don't limit yourself to only one type of thing. Because I know on YouTube, I really get it. Everyone just says, just get Tesla and you'll be golden. Tesla and Bitcoin, those will be the most popular things on YouTube. But there are other things out there. I was telling people about Series I bonds last year. But unfortunately, when you make a video about Series I bonds, they're just not popular. Like just a few hundred people watch because it's just not cool. And it's funny because like Series I bonds like beat the market. It's crazy. Like it was like I think I want to say it's 9.62%. And this is in a year when say stocks may go down say 10-20%, this kind of thing. But there's a couple of charts I want to show you regarding stocks and bonds. So if you wanted to do, for example, a 60-40 split in your portfolio, 60% stocks, 40% bonds. This gives you kind of an idea, a comparison of the difference between stocks and bonds. Now, the key point in this, you can see the years are what, 1950, 1970, and 1990, like from there, essentially. The important thing to think about is that past performance does not equal future results. So I'm showing this chart just to take a look, and because they're making the case here, just from numbers of the past, that stocks outperform, right? You can see it for yourself. But again, past performance does not equal future results. You just don't know. But yes, if the trend continues, and Warren Buffett likes to call it like the American tailwind, then stocks would always be great. But there's just risk. I just want to emphasize there's risk, and you got to manage it for yourself. So, the thing is with the 60-40 treasuries is guaranteed. As long as the US doesn't fall, you're guaranteed. But you got to, I just over and over again, you got to manage your own risk on that. Because if you take a look at this, for example, this would argue this is the forward PE of the market here. This would say we're a little bit expensive. You could look at the Schiller PE if you like. You could look at the Buffett indicator. I show these occasionally on the channel. But I just want to get a general sense of where we are. No one knows for sure like exact direction, but we kind of know what to look at. We look at bond yields, look at what is the Fed doing, are they raising rates or not, and are companies expensive or not? These are the kind of things. And there's one last thing I wanted to show you guys as well. This is the same chart of comparing bonds and stocks and or the 60-40 portfolio, and sort of how does each perform. And this is on the world, excluding the USA. And the thing that's really interesting, if you take a look at, say, from 94, it is showing like oh my God, equities really underperformed compared to the other two. And one of the things that's going on, say, during this period was, say, Japan just really, really struggled. If you guys, as you guys may know, I'm pushing 50, and you remember, Japan used to be like this behemoth. It was basically a bubble. And the bubble popped and didn't really come back. Now, will Japan just for example, will Japan make a comeback? Is that possible? And will we see, say, growth in other parts of the world? If I had to take a bet, I think India and Vietnam are bets to take. However, there's a big however. There's a lot of corruption in a place like India or Vietnam. If you just been following the Adani situation, that was the one. He was like the richest person in Asia. The Hindenburg, hedge funds said, hey, it looks like everything's overvalued by 75%, that kind of thing. And that stock has just been taking a dive. And there's massive corruption in those countries. And so then you got to think about, okay, is the risk worth the reward? And everything is up to you. I just try my best to lay out some risks, some things to think about, and to show you guys some charts. So you can go back, pause the video, look at this stuff for yourself, and love to hear your thoughts on any one of these stories. So thanks again, everyone, for watching. And this has been your Daily News.